Pushpa sirf naam nahi, a brand hai. Allu Arjun as Pushpa Raj doesn't just play the character, he becomes one. It feels like he's lived in Pushpa's skin since the first film of Sukumar's franchise. His swag, smartness, mannerisms and screen presence remain unmatched. In fact, he's taken it to the next level. The fire within him has turned into wildfire, an unstoppable force. And when it comes to protecting women, he's an absolute beast. Pushpa may not be a typical charming boy next door hero, but his heroism will blow your mind. He commands the screen single-handedly, effortlessly holding your attention. Joining me on this broadcast is my colleague, entertainment editor Tushar Joshi. Tushar, what do you feel? You know, this time Pushpa isn't just about wildfire, like I said. The film delves deeper into his vulnerable side as a husband, a lover, a soon-to-be father, an uncle, and a man who not only respects but fiercely protects women.
Dipali, you're absolutely right. I think why Pushpa 2 worked for me is the fact that it's sort of rewriting every possible rule in the book. And there was so much pressure on Allu Arjun, right? Like how you rightly mentioned, he's able to bring out every possible emotion in the audience. The background score is terrific. The emotional scenes draw you. The scenes even between Rashmika and Allu this time have been written better. And I feel the scale of Pushpa 2 is so much bigger than the first. The writers and the makers, I'm sure, must have had so much pressure on them to make sure that they're able to meet expectations of the audience. In that department, I think Pushpa 2 scores in a very, very big way, Dipali.
Absolutely, Tushar. I agree with you. You know, also the songs, which initially seem situational, come alive on screen. In fact, Pushpa not only fights his rivals with his trademark style, but also dances his heart out, bringing joy and energy to every beat. Allu Arjun breathes life into every song, truly outdoing himself in his new avatar, in fact, when the beast within him is unleashed in the second half, particularly in that Ma Kali-inspired transformation. What do you think of that? It's a cinematic spectacle, Tushar.
That absolutely got goosebumps. I mean, not just me, but I remember people sitting next to me had goosebumps. And that obviously is a very, very high point in the film. It's done so well that you can't take your eyes off the screen. And Dipali, correct me if I'm wrong, but there are so many such moments, right, in the film. There are so many scenes throughout the film which they have written so well where you can't take your eyes off the screen. And the reason behind all of this, I think the thread that connects each and every scene in the film is Allu Arjun. I can't think of any other actor, if you remove Allu Arjun from the frame and if you put somebody else there who could have been able to deliver, who could have even picked up few scenes which are not really that great, which are very average, but it's him and his charisma, I think, that sort of elevates each and every scene to another level, Dipali.
You know, also the selling point about Pushpa 2, the rule, was the face-off between Allu Arjun as Pushpa Raj and Fahadh Faasil as Shekhawat. It was intense, but the outcome is clear. Pushpa Raj dominates. Unfortunately, Fahadh's Shekhawat feels underutilized, overshadowed by Allu's towering performance.
I mean, there is no denying that Fahadh is such a terrific actor. I think anything that Fahadh does, even if he has to read a line from a book, I think people would want to sit and watch that. But yes, that was one complaint that I had in the film, is the fact that Fahadh's character felt a little underwhelming. It felt like they were wanting to make Pushpa, like you said rightly, look more dominating, look more overpowering. And Fahadh has so much potential and his character, Shekhawat, has so much potential. I feel they could have pushed that character a little bit more to get more juice out of him and create those really standout epic moments between Fahadh's character and Allu Arjun's character.
Even the story has evolved, Tushar, from sandalwood smuggling to a broader narrative about protecting and respecting women with emotional drama woven throughout. Even Rashmika's, character gets a stronger, meatier role this time, which is a refreshing shift. The makers have also made an effort to cater to a wider audience, incorporating Japanese, Bengali and Gujarati elements to connect with fans across, different countries and cultures. This franchise already is a global phenomenon and seems that, determined to resonate with a broader audience, especially women.
That's a very valid point you've made, because at no point do you feel like you're watching a film that can be put in a box, or you could say that, oh, you're watching a film made in South India. I think when you watch Pushpa 2, like you rightly mentioned, it sort of transcends and sort of encompasses every possible gender, every possible race, every possible language. You're also looking at now not just pan-India, but you're looking like a global audience. You're looking at a fact that languages really can transcend and reach audiences world over. And I think that is what the beauty of Pushpa 2 is. I think that is where the writers have excelled in sort of not just, oh, come on, humko paisa banana hai, we have to make money at the box office. Let's just make a sequel. You anyways know you're going to have a 500 for 400, 300 crore opening. But I think they've really put their mind where it matters the most. They have spent their time on making a script that stands solid. They have made sure that their lead actor gets support from the writers. The film has a spectacular technical team. The background score is terrific. The music is really good. The action scenes are bang on buck. Every supporting character deserves to be where he and she is. I think that is the reason why everybody comes together. It's a cohesive unit, an ensemble that sort of works so beautifully like a well-oiled machine. And I think that is why Pushpa 2, like I said, breaks every possible rule in the book. It's called Pushpa 2 the rule, but it's breaking rules and it's going to set box office records, Dipali. Are you going to watch this again, like all of us, perhaps?
I can, of course, and I will watch it for that particular scene of Ma Kali transformation that, Pushpa Raj becomes into. But, also talking about violence, it remains a key theme, Tushar, but it's handled in a way that keeps you on the edge of your seat. Also, Pushpa is, of course, a brand itself. No wonder the third film in this franchise is titled Pushpa Rampage.
Yes, and I think fans are going to be hungry. Well, some of it could look at, okay, they're going to milk the franchise. Obviously, let's make more, right? If a film makes money, let's just keep making sequels. But I think the focus, if it's kept on the writing, like they kept on the writing in the second part, then I think they're on the right track, because that's a treacherous slope you could go on. If you're not spending enough time in the writing room, in the narration room, in sort of tweaking your script rightly, the audience is not going to lap it. We've had sequels in the past which have not really delivered. But fortunately, and in good terms, Pushpa 2 does deliver bang for buck. And I think you're right. In that emphasis, I think Pushpa 2 is going to become a benchmark, not just for films from a certain area in India, but it is going to become like a scale. It's going to also set new rules in terms of how does one make films. You're looking at audiences who are watching OTT, they're watching content across languages. Pushpa 2 is a great example of how to stay relevant and take a film that has done well and then create it into a very successful franchise, Dipali.
Exactly, and Pushpa Rampage, of course, after this wild ride, feels like is going to be one fitting next chapter. Thank you so much for joining us, Tushar.
Pushpa.